Hey everyone, I'm Rob. It's Wednesday today, and it's time to sit down and chat all things ChatGPT and generative AI and catch up with the news in the week. Now, the big news of the week, of course, was OpenAI had an OpenAI DevDay, and the crowning achievement that they did mention was that they're unveiling GPTs for everyone. You get a GPT, I get a GPT, we all get GPTs. Now, what does that mean? Let me just quickly rewind and explain. So you know how we chatted about custom instructions a couple months back in which you could give ChatGPT the specific instructions on the output and how you want the output to be? And there we created like a Dutch learning language buddy, a travel planner, etc. Well, now you don't have to be confined to entering in those custom instructions all the time. You can have your own GPT. So what this means is that we can box how we want the GPT to perform, the information, the specific information, the extra knowledge that we might want to feed into it, and then the abilities if we want it to just spit out text, if we want it to analyze documents, so on and so forth. So all those beautiful capabilities that ChatGPT 4 has. And what does that mean? Well, now we can make specific types of GPTs. So like, for example, they list a creative writing coach, which is fantastic. Put your writing in and it will give you feedback. For me, I'm like really excited about this because I'm like, okay, there's so much stuff that I want to like, certain GPTs that I have. And like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit lazy and I like don't use those custom instructions all the time because it's a bit tedious. So I would love to do this. Like I am on a software engineering project. So I'd love to just, feed it a whole bunch of information about software engineering. So like, if I have little questions about it, it can be like hyper fast and then relevant to the industry that my client works in. The other things like, having a Dutch language GPT because now I'm dating somebody who's Dutch and it's like, oh gosh, I need to like try and apply this language again. Prayers are needed. So there's just a lot of different applications and just like boxes that I would love to have this with. Yeah, I feel like it's really a fascinating and a great announcement. And what that means, I think, for a lot of developers is that this might compete with some of the interesting GPT applications that people have been building now that you can basically create your own GPT without coding. So of course the unveiling of GPTs is super cool. And the other thing that they also unveiled during the OpenAI DevDay, was the unveiling of the GPT Store. So the GPTs that you build, you can put them on a public GPT store in which other people can download your GPT that you've created, and you can actually earn money from this based on how many people use this GPT. So this is like, I feel like this is like a huge thing. This is like an Apple App Store moment where like people can just like earn money from making GPTs. There's going to be so many cool GPTs available for us to download, to try out. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of hungry. So also during the developer day, they announced two other really cool things. The first was for developers that you can start to integrate more external data into your GPT. So integrating like travel listings, like e-commerce data, stuff like that. So you can have such a more rich and precise GPT. And of course, they've talked about privacy in this moment as well. And the second is that they chatted about having an enterprise version for their enterprise users starting Wednesday. So we know that Bain is already working with them to have their own internal GPT. And yeah, this is like the moment where like a lot of large companies will maybe pair with OpenAI or they're using Microsoft, for example. But this is going to be like the watershed moment of the enterprise GPT. So it's really like Philips gets a GPT, McDonald's gets a GPT, everybody gets a GPT. And I think this is nice because it can really enhance the experience and make it more like lower the barriers for smaller size companies, not just globals that have the access and the resource to this. So this is, I feel like this is like also too like, oh my gosh moment. And lastly, they also released some more information about developer products during the Dev Day. So what they announced ChatGPT Turbo. And what this means is that there is more expanded knowledge of world events up and until April 2023. So it's no longer 2021. We are post-COVID. This is April 2023. And there is more, there's more space to put a prompt. So if you need 300 pages of text in a single prompt, you can do it. They are also offering a cheaper price for input tokens, which is fantastic. That is something that's coming down the pipeline. So Whew. So there's just a couple other news items, just two that I want to chat about. The first is, so we have all this exciting stuff going on with OpenAI and DevDay. And in the other corner with Elon Musk, we have the unveiling of Grok. And that does sound like an orc warrior that I made in World of Warcraft 10 years ago, but we have Grok. And Grok is a large language model that Elon Musk has unveiled through his X.AI corporation. The Guardian chats a bit about it. They show one of the use cases, and yeah, it's sassy. It's like a ChatGPT. It's like somebody's own GPT that they made, and the instructions were like, be sassy. So that's neat. Yeah. So I think of course, I think competition here is great. It can make, for better products, especially when it comes to privacy, if that's one key element here. Also too, there has been reports that ChatGPT has a left-leaning bias. So Grok will probably have a more right-wing bias, to even that out. And the big functionality with this is that it can use and it can scrape and be trained on X. So yeah, if this is something that you need and you were asking for, you got it. So if you have a subscription to Premium Plus, X's top tier subscription service, you will get access in a bit. If you're interested, you can go to grok.x.ai and sign up for early access, and then you can report on it and let me know. I'm trying to be like, okay, you know what? Like we had Bing, we had Bard, like, maybe it's cool though. It could be cool. Now, the name Grok comes from the American science fiction writer Robert A. Heinlein. And according to the Collins Dictionary, this was a made-up word that the author created to mean understand thoroughly and intuitively. So, wishing Grok the best in his journeys. And hopefully he'll make it through the Badlands. Now, and lastly, one other thing that I thought would be interesting to share, because I saw it on Reddit, and credit goes to Successful Westerner 27. Ooh, that... Anyways, according to a scientific report, telling ChatGPT 4 that you're scared or under pressure apparently improves performance. So deterministic tasks saw an 8% performance boosts. Generative tasks experienced a 115% improvement when benchmarked using Big Bench. You can read more about the paper. I will link it in the description of this video. And another interesting point, a commenter said, there was also a study that said saying please and thanks also gets better responses. I love that. Politeness. It goes a long way. It's not just because I'm Canadian. Yeah. Anyways, that's all the time today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to go ahead and like and subscribe to this video, that helps a lot. If not, all good. Have a fabulous Wednesday and continue to have a fabulous week. Thanks, guys. Catch you next time. Bye.